Robyn Mehlenbeck. I'm the director for the George Mason Center for Community Mental Health, and I am a clinical psychologist.
Last time I talked to you was about a year ago, and you just moved into this space. What has the progress been in this past year?
Oh, it's been amazing. We actually just have our annual report out, which is available on our website, ccmh.gmu.edu, for anyone interested in data. But the real life stories are just it's been amazing. You know, our dual mission of training the next generation of behavioral health providers while providing high quality, accessible, affordable services, mental health services to the community. You know, every day I get to see evidence of that, of both sides of that. I was actually really impressed last year as we pulled some of our data. Our emotional support line had over 950 calls in 1 year, which was a huge increase in the last year. Our Spanish line has also seen a 27% increase in usage. Which really means that we're reaching more people. That is a free, anonymous, confidential, warm line. So again, to provide some emotional support. Therapy wise, you know, again, we had over 2,500 therapy sessions that were offered, the majority on our sliding scale. Our fundraising has been amazing, which is what allows us to make sure that we can provide the mental health services at, you know, little to no cost as needed, depending on what the family's needs are.
What is it like leading some of these students that are going to make an impact in the mental health field in the future?
It's a passion of mine. Part of the reason I'm here at Mason is because the training is just amazing. And the more that we train people in what we call the evidence-based services, the more they go out and spread that, and they teach and they train and they provide high quality services. So it's almost like a butterfly effect, you know, and that is incredibly rewarding to me. So as far as the training and leading the training, it inspires me every day to see the growth and development of all of our trainees, from our undergrads to our volunteers to our graduate students and our postdocs, and see the good that they can do. There's also really good evidence that if you train people to give back to the community in their own careers, they're going to give back to the community. And that's a big piece of what we're about here at the CCMH.
I know for me, when I first started calling therapists and stuff like that, there was a lot of nerves because I was nervous with the stigma. When people call here, do you hear or see any nerves from them, and you're here to, help them?
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, most people actually go through the website first because they find there's a request for services form on the website. And I think sometimes that step is a little easier because you're not talking to a person to start with. But again, once the staff talks to folks, the empathy, the warmth, the caring is just comes through to help people feel better. The emotional support lines, you know, when people call those lines, they get somebody who really cares and is highly trained to help them and to help them also figure out the next steps. And so that I think helps people. Once they've done it once, it definitely gets a little easier.
And I was lucky enough to attend one of your fundraisers, and there's a lot of people around the community coming in to help and support. What does that feel like?
You know, we are very blessed by the support that we have in the community. And again, our goal is to give back to the community. We would not be able to do what we do and maintain that dual mission if we didn't have support from the community. That is absolutely critical, whether it's our corporate partners like Leidos, DevTech, other corporate partners, as well as a lot of individual donors who are part of our circle of champions. And again, they're committed to the mission of providing affordable, accessible, and culturally responsive mental health services to the community. Again, we see kids as young as age 5, all the way through the lifespan. We have special services for veterans. We have special fundraising to help veterans receive their services for free. So again, that is something specific to our veterans in the community, and we want to give back to them. And then also while we're training, I mean, it's such a magnified effect. And again, we just feel so fortunate to have the support from the community that we do. And we're constantly looking for additional support, if I'm honest, Mike.
Yes, please.
So yeah, anyone who is interested in coming and seeing our center, meeting some of our students, doing a tour, I'd love the opportunity to show you what we do and explain what we do. We do free community workshops as well. We have a parent webinar series that we do in partnership with Connor Strong, which is a nonprofit for suicide prevention. And so once a month, we have a different topic, and all of those videos are available on the College of Humanities and Social Sciences YouTube channel. So we record them. If you can't attend in person, you can go back. The most popular one has been what parents need to know about social media. That was this past spring. And we will have our spring workshop series for this upcoming spring set up soon. But again, this was in response to a community need. And we wanted to provide this to the community.
Yeah, with the social media, kids do have issues and they come, to therapy sometimes, but the parents, need to know a little bit for a full support. How important is it for parents to understand some of these issues?
Oh, it's critical. And again, more and more data is coming out to show the harms of social media. There are a lot of benefits too, and it's not an all or nothing at this point. But parents do need to understand, because our kids understand better than we do as parents. And so for parents to educate yourselves and figure out what is the best way to address cell phone use, screen time, social media within your house, within your family values, it's just critical. To help our kids not develop depression, anxiety, which again, the data is showing that more and more, particularly teen girls, but all kids are struggling with mental health issues that is related to social media use.
You do a lot to help others, but what do you do to help your own mental health?
So I'm very fortunate that I have an incredibly supportive husband and family. So I spend time with my husband, my 2 kids, my dogs, and my cats. I also work out. Going to the gym is really important to me for my mental health. It's a social connection as well as physically gives me a lot of benefit. So I'm a firm believer in, again, the mental and the physical need to go hand in hand. And so, paying attention to what I eat, which still means having treats, but getting a good bit of physical activity, getting adequate sleep, those are all pieces that we talk to folks about. And I try to keep, on top of in my own life too. Again, it's not all or nothing. It's never fully, if we expect perfection, we're doomed to failure. So I'd much rather, there's trying, and there's good days, and there's days that it's harder.
What are some of the things you've learned from your family?
Oh, wow. I've learned so much from my family. I've learned how important it is to have open communication, both with my husband, with my kids. And again, there are times that you'll go through, particularly those of you who have teenagers, where your kids don't want to talk to you, but finding times, particularly in the car, is a great one. We always had a rule in our house of no cell phones if you're sitting in the front seat. But the teen could have control of the radio. So they pick the music we listen to, or they could hook their phone up to the radio for music. But that's a great time to talk. Gosh, what else have I learned from them? Flexibility. You do have to be flexible within boundaries. You know, kids need boundaries too.
What would you say to anyone going through a tough time?
I would say it feels overwhelming when you're in the middle of a tough time. And the temptation is to isolate and pull yourself apart and feel very alone. And the feeling is real, and yet there is help available. You know, call the emotional support lines. Call 988, which is the National Crisis Line. They'll help you get services. Talk to somebody. Let your family, your friends, somebody from your religious community know that you're struggling. Okay. It feels worse when you're trying to do it alone. And there is help available. And everybody needs help at some point. You know, you are not the only person who needs help. Okay. It does not make you strange, does not make you crazy, it does not make you any of that. Everybody needs help at some point. So please, please speak up and don't isolate yourself. And that's what I would share with people who are going through a tough time.
How can people reach out and learn more?
So we would love to be able to share more about our center. You know, definitely go to our website, ccmh.gmu.edu. And remember, we serve the whole community, not just the Mason students.